Hey there YouTube, That's here, and today I'm going to be doing something that a lot of other YouTubers and other VGC players are doing, and that's bringing you guys a team review for VGC 2014. As you guys know, Worlds was like last weekend, so everyone's pretty much posting their full teams that they brought to Worlds and that they used throughout the season, and this is like the full accumulation of all the experience if you've learned throughout the whole season playing VGC 2014, and since I didn't get to go to Worlds, this is going to be my team. And I did enter a couple of tournaments before Worlds. I entered a Nugget Bridge live tournaments on the 12th and the 13th that had a lot of the top players from North America, like Aaron Zhang, B for Victini, Bears fan. A lot of them. There's a lot of strong players, and I did really well in those tournaments. So this is kind of like my Worlds recap team, but yeah, I didn't go to Worlds. So, anyways, let's start off with my team. I have Garchomp in my lead. This is the standard moveset on Garchomp. You see the Protect. There's a little bit of a variety. All my Pokemon have a bit of variety. Don't think I'm terrible, just think that there's a little bit of variety. Standard Protect, Standard Earthquake, Standard Dragon Claw. Swords Dance is supposed to be Rock Slide, but in reality, like, everything that I wanted a Rock Slide is really like slower than me. Like other than Talonflame, like if I want to Rock Slide a Charizard, it's gonna expect me to Rock Slide. It's gonna Protect. I can pop a Swords Dance, then I can pop a Dragon Claw and kill it, and then I'm at +2. And since most people really expect Garchomp to hold Lumberry, they're not really gonna waste their time Will-O-Wisping it, which means if I Swords Dance, it's like awesome. I have this Swords Dance and there's nothing they can do about it. It's pretty gimmicky, especially when you pair it with Focus Sash and Sandveil. Like really, this looks like the shittiest set ever. This is supposed to be a Lumberry, this is supposed to be a Rough Skin, and this is supposed to be Rock Slide. I know it's really different, at least my EV spread's correct. This Garchomp just works for me. It's really off meta. The Sash lets it really stay in against anything. Literally anything. Like, oh, you were using a Choice Scarf T-Tar with Ice Beam. Great, well I have this Sash. You know, I really like also the Sandveil, and like I said, T-Tar is really big, and this really gives me just an edge because most people aren't gonna like be fake outing Garchomps. The only advantage Rough Skin really brings is switching in on stuff like, oh, you know your opponent's Mega King is gonna go for a fake out, you can switch him with Garchomp. And since I don't want to do that, since I do have a Sash in the first race, remember this Garchomp doesn't want to take damage. I don't want to switch in and take damage, so yeah, I think Sandveil is just a really cool ability that you don't see very often. Like I said, I know that Rough Skin and Lumberry and Rock Slide are the standard movesets. My Garchomp is just a little bit different. So yeah, that's my Garchomp. These are its stats. It's pretty standard on the stats wise. You have the Jolly Nature as most players do for those speed ties you need to win. Next up is Romheat. He's also a little bit different. You're gonna see that in a lot of my stuff. I think the only standard Pokemon I have is like Scizor or Mantric, and like those are both really off meta Pokemon. So you're gonna see Choice Scarf on my Romheat. So a little bit weird from the wall set. I'm gonna be using Bolt Switch, Discharge, Overheat, and HP Ice. So this guy is super good at checking dragons, which were pretty relevant. You check Garchomps, you check Salamances potentially. It also checks things that are also really good, like Mega Mawile, checks a Moongus, and it just keeps people honest because they don't know if they're going to get Will-O-Wisp or if they're going to eat a huge Overheat in the face. Since I'm Choice Scarfed, I got to go with that sweeper set. I got Modest Nature, 252 Special Attack, 252 Speed with the correct IV settings, so I can have that HP Ice. I really do like the EQ Discharge, and I like showing it off. It's a standard weed. It's what I do when I can't read their team 100%. I like to go with that EQ Discharge because it is very good. Garchomp, Rotom, throwing it back to the old days. Uh, I really know what to say. Like, I really like leading stuff. Like, I like leading with Rotom Gyarados, and they're like, all right, there's no way he'll discharge. Switching out my Gyarados for Manectric, using discharge that turn, and proccing the lightning rod on my Manectric. I really like going for a little cute place like that. So I really think discharge is worth having on this guy. Some people could say this could be Thunderbolt. This could be a different move. But since it is Scarf, I really like going with the discharge, and it pairs well with the Manectric and my Garchomp. So I don't really have a problem with it. I really like this guy. I used Rotom in every regional I went to and every Premier Challenge, as well as Garchomp. So these two Pokemon were my team all season. Next up is Salamance. Standard Salamance is going to be that Choice Scarf one, but my Salamence is a little bit different. Again, I use a lot of different Pokemon. I use Protect Salamence, Dragon Pulse, Flamethrower, and Hydro Pump over Stone Edge. I realized that Stone Edge became the correct choice later in the meta. I like Hydro Pump. I Stone Edge is good if you want to kill those Talonflames, and I actually did lose a tournament game, 1v1 versus Charizard, because I got like a crit overheat and I couldn't kill it fast enough because the sun made my Hydro Pump weak. So I probably will change this to Stone Edge before the end of the season, But I also did win a tournament game because I killed a Gengar in the rain with Hydro Pump because my Dragon Pulse was disabled. So, aha, there things to be said for each of the abilities, or each of the moves. I obviously have Intimidate as my ability, and this is what makes my Salamence really, really cool. I go for the Hub Bomberry over the Choice Scarf. Now, if you've been looking at my moves and my EV spread, you can tell this is a full HP Salamence, which means this Salamence is one of my 2 tanks. I want to take a lot of damage, I get that Intimidate on there, and I want to bait the other dragons into attacking me. Now, I rarely ever do bring the Salamence because you can see that my team has a ton of Intimidates, but when I do bring it, it is usually against double dragons. So if my opponent has like Hydreigon, Garchomp, Salamence of their own, Noivern, or anything that Salamence can trade with effectively after eating a dragon attack, this pretty much makes the game a 4v3. Because if they use their dragon and they're like, cool, I'm going to Draco Meteor that Salamence. They Draco Meteor me, it doesn't even do half, and I Dragon Pulse kill them back. So effectively, they've lost a Pokemon, and all I've lost is an item and half my HP. Remember, since I'm full HP anyways, it's like I've barely taken anything off what a regular Salamence would be. So I really like Salamence. I really like this moveset on Salamence. I was thinking of a couple other Pokemon instead, but I ended up going with Salamence because it also baits really well with Garchomp into making people bring their fairies so my Scizor can clean them up. One thing I just put the last 4 into this speed stat here, even though I probably didn't need it. In reality, I probably would have liked it in defense or special D. It doesn't really matter though, because it is just like a couple points. I could have made my EV spread a little bit better, but I really just opted to go with the full HP just because, when you make an EV spread to live through special attacks, like not special attacks, but live through certain attacks, uh, you have to actually go in and calc all that stuff. I really just wanted to live through a general amount of everything, so I just went with the HP. You could say it's lazy, which it kind of is, but there's nothing I really wanted to live specifically, which is why I just went with this very general EV spread. Nothing special here. I really like the Protect on this guy. People rarely ever see it coming. So I use this Salamence when I see double dragons. It helped me out all season, and it's just a very, very standard Pokemon. I like it a lot. Next Pokemon up is Gyarados, and Gyarados is a really weird set too. He's kind of an off-meta Pokemon. The first 3 have been very meta Pokemon, but Gyarados is a little bit off-meta. He's a little bit new, and he's my special wall. Salamence generally takes physical attacks a lot better than Gyarados does, so we're going to see Citrus Berry as my item. This guy is my main tank. We're going to see Intimidate as my ability, and movesets are Protect, Taunt, Thunder Wave, very weird in the Thunder Wave, and Waterfall. So with a moveset like this, you have to assume his EV spread is like no damage, which is full HP, just a little bit of attack, and full specialty. Look at that huge base specialty. That is ridiculous. He can eat Thunderbolts from not stab Pokemon. Like a Gengar Thunderbolt isn't doing anything with this guy. I think Gyarados goes really well with the team because it baits people into using their electric attacks, which my Mantric can clean up with later. So I really, really like Gyarados. I think the Thunder Wave on him is great, and I needed a taunting Pokemon, and I didn't want a frail taunter like Weavile. I wanted a Pokemon that can taunt, that has decent speed, that can just kill stuff if it had to. Now, you can see that my team, I have Salamence and Garchomp, is potentially, and, Manectric, is potentially very weak to Mamoswine. So I figured bringing a Pokemon like Gyarados to, with Waterfall, they don't know what my EV spread is. And even though it is weak, Waterfalls still do a lot of damage to Mamoswine. He gets pretty wrecked by like Venusaurs and stuff, but he like taunts Amoonguss, taunts Trick Roomers, Thunder Waves the Sweepers. Like I said, most of my Pokemon have Protect, and if I want to, I can just like spam Protect and Thunder Wave all my opponent's Pokemon, and then just take advantage once they're slower. So I really like this Gyarados. I think it's a very pivotal point of my team, and yeah, like my team really wouldn't be the team without Gyarados. He's a great Pokemon. He like baits people and using electric attacks from my Manectric. Awesome. Gyarados is a boss. Next Pokemon, my Mega, which I actually rarely bring, is going to be Manectric. With Manectricite, ability Lightning Rod. Remember, this is a ability that draws in all electric type moves on the board to boost my special attack by 1 stage, and also immune to electric attacks. My moveset is Protect, Volt Switch, Flamethrower, and HP Ice. That was the moveset I used most of the season. I recently changed this to just be Thunderbolt. Now you may ask why not have Protect. He's generally fast enough to just like you're faster than Garchomp, like pre-Mega Evolving, because I'm using Speed Nature. So there's no real reason for you to have to Protect to get your speed involved. If you really want to not take damage, you can literally just usually Volt Switch out unless they're Scarfed. So I really just thought about it, and I was like, I kind of just want this Thunderbolt over the Volt Switch, and then it forces me to not doing really weak plays. Same could be said, you know, it's either or. I know for the last tournament I entered, I did use Thunderbolt instead of Protect, and it worked out very well. So like I said, I got Flamethrower and HP Ice. I have to go with Flamethrower over the Overheat. I looked at the couple things I could kill with Overheat, and that was only if I was Modest Nature. And like I said, I really wanted that Speed Nature. So I opted not to go for the Overheat and standard HP Ice. So 4 in HP, very, very standard. I guess that probably could have went in here, the 4 in HP, but that's fine. And that's Speed Nature. So really cool thing to note is that this guy outspeeds like everything. He gets so fast after Mega Evolving. I didn't really bring him that much. He's more of just a threat to be like, hey, this is my Mega, counter my Mega. And then I would really just bring like Garchomp, Rotom, Scizor, and Gyarados. And that's just how my games usually went. I would only really bring Mantric against teams that I could get away with it from. Like if they had Earthquakes, or if they had like Tyrannitars. Like if there was a team that I could hit for like 4 times damage with on any of these moves that were full of that stuff, I'd bring Mantric, otherwise not. Because my other Pokemon just do its job better. Think about it. You know, I have an electric attack, a fire attack, an ice attack. Salamance has half of those, and he's not frail as shit. You know, Rotom has all of those and doesn't need to waste a Mega Evolve and has the ground immunity. So Rotom, I usually always brought over the Manectric, and sometimes I would bring them paired with each other. So they're very similar Pokemon, and yeah, I don't know. I just really liked what Manectric brought to the table, and I wasn't super about like basing my team around my Mega. I wanted a Mega that filled in with a team that I already had. That's why I decided to go with Manectric instead of a standard thing like, you know, Kangaskhan or Mawile. I wanted a Mega that could be thrown into my team, not one that had to be like the focal point of the team. So last Pokemon, a Pokemon I used in every single regional. Everything I went to is Scizor, standard Lumberry. I guess some people like the Choice Band. I guess some people like a couple other items. I like Lumberry. Gonna go with Protect, Swords Dance, Bullet Punch, and X Scizor. I cannot wait till we get Bug Bite back. That's gonna be huge. You know, just huge bulk set. You know, 252 HP, 252 attack with Nature, going Adamant, and 4 in Special D. This guy is a huge, like, I bring this guy almost every game. You're gonna see when I upload tournament games for this team, I bring this guy to every team. I don't care if you have Charizard on your team. If you have Charizard on the team, you're probably thinking there's no way I'm bringing Scizor, and that's probably why I'm going to bring it, because the rest of my team could just, like, paralyze it, you know, kill it with electric attacks, wreck that Charizard. Once Charizard's down, Scizor can come out and just wreck everybody. Scizor is a freaking tank. He just takes all the damage, and one of my favorite things to do is lead, like, Scizor Garchomp and just go for, like, a double Swords Dance, because that is just ridiculous advantage. You think, like, well, he might Earthquake, and so he might hit his Scizor, so I'm going to go for a double Protect. And if you go for the double Protect and I get a double Swords Dance, it's just game. And the Lumberry just pairs really well on him, because most people expect my Lumberry to be on a Garchomp. So you're going to see a lot of times where people actually just go for Will-O-Wisp on my Scizor. You know, he's really weak to common threats like Charizard and Talonflame, as well as, you know, fire attacks from like Hydreigon, Salamence. But if you play around those, like if you get Thunder Waves off on those guys and play around it, Scizor can be the best Pokemon on your team, hands down. He's generally the Pokemon that sweeps most of my games. I usually like to set up a nice early game, get a decent advantage going, and then finish everything off with Scizor. He also checks fairy types, which my teams are generally pretty weak against. You know, I have Garchomp and Salamence, so Scizor can really check those guys and just keep them honest and make sure they don't just get to run away with the game. So this is my team. You know, I got that Sash, Garchomp, Scarf, Rotom, Habomberry, Salamence, Citrus, Gyarados, Manectric, and Lumberry Scizor. Yeah, these two are probably the only standard Pokemon in my team. I know I have a lot of very off movesets and off EV spreads and off items, but you know that's probably what makes my team good. And over the next week, I'm probably going to be uploading games from a couple Nugget Bridge live tournaments where, like I said, I played a lot of really good players and managed to get third in both of them. So thank you guys for watching my potential Worlds 2014 team review. I really wish I would have got to test it at Worlds. A lot of the people I played said I probably would have gotten pretty far in the last chance qualifier. I almost got enough CP to go, but yeah, I didn't go to nationals either. So if I would have gone to nationals, I think if I would have got top 16 at Nats, I would have had enough CP to qualify for Worlds. But oh well. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any questions about the team, or if you see that I did any EV spreads completely incorrectly, or stuff like that, feel free to leave it in the comments below, and yeah, we'll talk about it. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.